So this one here is the units of production method. And this method records depreciation expense based on the units that were produced each year. But before recording the depreciation expense for each year, based on the units that are produced each year, the cost per unit will need to be determined based on the total number of units that were produced. So in this scenario here, we got Goofy Tech Company purchased equipment that cost $96,000. The equipment's useful life is estimated at 200,000 units of product or production with a salvage value of $10,000. So below we have year one, 40,000 units were produced. Year two, 70,000 units were produced. Year three, 90,000 units were produced. So we have to determine the equipment's third year depreciation expense and the book value of the equipment at year end using the units of production method. And yes, it is already, this scenario here is already completed at the very, I want to say at the bottom here. Okay, but I want to first walk through the formula that is used in order to figure out what the cost per unit is going to be. Okay, I know we can see the cost per unit is 43 cents. But to put it together, we're going to take, now the formula is pretty much similar to the formula that is used for the straight line method, with the exception of what is being inserted into the denominator. So we're going to take the, let's see, cost, subtract from the salvage value, divided by not useful life, but units of production. Okay, so we're just going to plug it in. So the cost was $96,000. Okay, subtract out the salvage value of $10,000. Divided by units of production is going to be the full 200,000 units. So this is going to give us the cost per unit that needs to be applied to the units that's produced each year. So this should be, let me just make sure that the Excel sheet is not wrong. Yes, so this gives us 43 cents per unit, cost per unit, right? So we're going to take this cost per unit and we're going to apply it to, if I can zoom in, we're going to apply it to this, the units that were produced at 40,000 in year one, 70,000 in year two, 90,000 in year three. So year one, the depreciable cost is 86,000. That's taking the 96,000 the cost, subtracting out the salvage value, because we can't depreciate below the salvage value. So 86,000 is the starting point. Then we have the units that were produced in year one, which is 40,000. So the cost per unit is 43 cents. This is what we determined right here. And so the depreciation expense is going to be $17,200. Okay. So how do we get that? We pretty much take the 40,000 units produced. Okay. Pretty much multiply it by 0.43. That's going to give us $17,200. Okay, that depreciation expense is pretty large, but it does align with the units that's produced, which is good. All right. So accumulated depreciation is going to be the same amount, $17,200. So the year-end book balance is going to be $78,800, which is taking the $96,000 and subtracting out $17,200 to get that ending book value. Now that book value, it's just what it is. And so, which means that in year two, the depreciable cost of $86,000, that's just still there. It's just letting us know that it's going to start there when it comes to depreciating the asset. Units of production is 70,000, so it went up by 30,000. Cost per unit is still the same, 43 cents. So the depreciation expense, it also went up significantly, of $30,100. So as we can see here, the depreciation expense that's recorded, it's more aligned with the units that were produced. So, which is great. So then accumulated depreciation is taking the 17,200 that's already recorded in year one. And it's going to add this $30,100 to get to $47,300. So the year-end book value balance is brought down from $78,800 to $48,700. Okay, so that book value, you can just take 78,800 from year one, or the end of year one, subtract out 30,100, and that is going to give you, let's see, just making sure I'm doing this right, $48,700. That's the ending book value for year two. Now we go to year three. Units of production is 90,000, so it went up by 20,000. So that means that the depreciation expense should also go up. Cost per unit is 43 cents. So depreciation expense is $38,700. Okay. So our accumulated depreciation is 86,000, which brought our book value down all the way down to $10,000. Now, you may be wondering, wait, how is this the case? Because if I put 90,000, let's see, 90,000 multiplied by 0.43, so 43 cents, that gives us $38,700. So should this $38,700 be this? Well, yes. All right. Now, let's say that this $38,700 came out to be $40,000. Should we record, or can we record $40,000 of depreciation expense instead of $38,700? The answer is no. At most we can actually record is $38,700. The reason why is because if we record more than $38,700, this means that our year-end book balance will be lower than $10,000. But remember, we cannot depreciate more than, I want to say, the salvage value, which is $10,000. We can't go beyond that amount because we have a salvage value of $10,000, which means that our depreciable cost is $86,000, right? Which matches the accumulated depreciation as well. So essentially, the equipment has been fully depreciated as of year three, the end of year three. So this is it. So this is our, this is pretty much the scenario of the units of production method.